Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Over 90 of the top 100 U.S. accounting firms trust Bill to simplify and secure bill pay. That's proven financial infrastructure built on over $1 trillion of secure payments. Visit Bill.com/proven for a special offer.
Hello, and welcome to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where two sisters talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Brooke Brigham, I'm the attorney.
And I'm Tess Brigham, I'm the therapist.
So we are continuing our journey, Sister Wives Rewind. We are on Season 5, Episode 2. This is called Kody Begs for an Answer.
Yes, and it is a journey. It really is.
It is. And spoiler alert, Kody still doesn't get an answer.
There is no answer. And I'm telling you, we go from I want an answer now to I want an answer in 2 months to I will settle for an answer 6 months from now.
Yeah.
I mean, it is unreal.
It's futile. But the episode starts out with, I guess these are school conferences. I think this was just set up for content. I don't think they were actually doing real parent-teacher conferences.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on.
It was a mock parent-teacher conference where all the wives and Kody go to the high school to meet with some of the kids' teachers.
And and Robyn was there too, but none of her kids go to the high school.
Oh, but she's a sister wife. And
of course she has to be
a
there.
Mother too. Oh. But they start out talking about, the secrecy of being a polygamist, and that they grew up, all of them except for Janelle didn't grow up like this, but the rest of them grew up where a lot of times, fathers could not even acknowledge all of their children. And so Kody really feels like, they all, they feel like it's important to, that Kody be able to go and everybody knows, and he can acknowledge all of his kids, and the wives can acknowledge, that they're all part of this family and everything.
Well, and the kids, prior to coming to Las Vegas, they first were homeschooled, and we see them with Christine, who used to teach them all, and then they went to a church school.
Right.
And so it seems like, based on what they're saying, that this is probably the most formal education these kids have had.
Yeah.
I would think.
And some of the kids started to go to public school in Utah before they moved, but I don't know how many years they'd been in public school. And yeah, you're right. They probably had a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, I'm
because
sure they did.
I'm sorry, Christine is not a teacher. People go to school for many years to become a teacher. It's not like anyone can just
and
do that.
I will say that homeschooling rules are super lax. I want to say my son is homeschooled. My husband and I do not teach him. We pay a teacher, an actual certified licensed teacher, an actual teacher, to teach our son, and then other classes he does on his own that are taught, that are actual curriculum. But I am constantly amazed by the homeschooling, because every time we think, oh my God, what are we going to do? He missed this thing. And they're all like, nah, don't worry about it. I mean, even when I look at the college requirements, because I'm like, we don't have transcripts. What do we write? What do we do? And then I looked at the University of California, what are their requirements? And, how do we prove that you took these classes? And they said, oh, just write homeschooled. And I said,
but there's no grades.
Yeah. And so I said, how do I prove how did?
Proficient he is.
Yeah. And they basically said, well, probably the best thing to do is just take a lot of aptitude tests, take a lot of AP tests, have him take the SATs, ACTs, and you need to write a really compelling essay. And my guess would be is they probably would want to interview him. Like there's your essay and aptitude tests and all of that become really important, and what you're doing and who you are become really important. But it's very laxed. And essentially by the time you're 16, because my son's going to be 16 in December, if he wants to take this state test, he can take it. And
the
that's
exit
it.
exam.
Yep.
Yeah. But like the UCs and the state schools, they don't do interviews. The state schools, you don't even have to submit an essay.
Oh, really?
They don't take essays. It's just purely your grades.
Mm-hmm.
It's also where you went to high school. And if you want to, here in California, they don't do SAT, ACT for the public universities anymore. They've banned that. So,
but you can take it and submit it.
You can.
Yeah.
It's optional, basically.
Optional. Yeah.
But yeah. So I think a private school would probably be more, equipped to evaluate him. But
I mean, I don't think he's going to be ready to go off anyway at 18. But the thing is that the homeschool stuff isn't very stringent. Just FYI, it really isn't terribly stringent.
Well, and you are actually going through the process of reporting this to the state and saying that he's doing this or that. I don't think Christine was doing that. You know what I mean? I think those kids were off the radar. Like the state of Utah didn't even know they existed.
But we pay a fee each year. We call it Maxa School, and that's it. But we don't have to report anything. We don't have to. There's very little oversight.
Wow, it's scary.
Very little oversight. It's very scary. There's very little oversight. Very little. So we create our curriculum based on what the University of California requires for an incoming freshman. So that's how we base our curriculum. And that's how we do it. And we trust our teacher to help us, Sam, to do that. But he's teaching, because my son's very, very smart. So his problem is that he's very anxious and just too damn smart. So that's how we do it. That's how we base it. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but
I don't know.
As long as he gets a job and eventually leaves our house, I really don't care.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Eventually leaves my home.
However you get there.
And is financially independent.
However you get there. Just got to get there.
Yes.
So yeah, and then Kody he says he doesn't want the teachers to be better dressed than him. So he gets all dressed up. He thinks he's so superior. Yeah. And it's like, again, fuck you, Kody. These are professionals. Yeah. They're educated
they
professionals.
They have much more education than you do.
Yeah. Shut up. Yeah. God, he's such a... And they're just so giddy about how, they've probably never met a polygamous family. And like, we're so special and unique. And look at us. We're all coming. They were all very cocky about the whole thing, I thought.
Really? Meri seemed nervous. Meri was kind of like, oh, okay, this is going to be weird. And where's Meri tanning? I mean, she has been hitting the tanning bed. She's hard.
Kind of an orange.
Yes. She's getting oranger by the day.
And Kody, too, if you notice, I don't know because from his convertible, he's got like the raccoon eyes. Ugh. And I don't know if that's from a tanning bed or like the sunglasses in the car. I don't know.
Yeah, but Meri's very orange.
Yeah, no, she's not a normal color. So they first go to Miss Hess's class, and she's the Spanish teacher. She's Leon's and Maddie's Spanish teacher. And she's talking to them in Spanish, and... there's talking about, I don't know, they always do this in foreign language classes. I don't know why. They give you a name. And like I took French and, like my name was Brigitte because it was like the closest thing they could find to Brooke. There is no French word for Brooke. Some names do translate. There's like David, David, but yeah, I was Brigitte.
Oh.
Did you take Spanish? Did you have a Spanish name?
I took Spanish, but my full legal name's Elizabeth Tess, and this guy would not listen to me when I said I go by Tess, so I had to be Isabel. Ugh, so frustrating. And so I was Isabel for a while, and then I was Isabel. French. I took French. I took Italian. I know nothing. I really know nothing.
Well, maybe you should have just stuck with one. But I took 4 years of French and I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So it kind of doesn't matter. High school language classes, what a waste.
Yeah, it is. It's such a waste.
So yeah, that was about it. They just talked to her in Spanish and, she said that the kids are doing fine.
Yeah. Well, this one seemed like a waste too. Coach Aaliyah.
Yeah, so this is the PE teacher.
I mean, do we really need to meet with the PE teacher? So this is Aspen's PE teacher, and we learned that Aspen has missed a bunch of classes, and Aspen's like, yeah, I just don't like going. and Christine just lets her stay home a lot.
Yeah, but then she said that she brought her grade back up to an A, and it's like, how? Like, PE is all based upon showing up, dressing down, participating. Yeah. That's your whole grade.
Well, I bet you anything she did, quote unquote, extra credit, which is probably lying and pretending like, oh, I did a bunch of exercise at home.
I did an aerobics class. Yeah,
I did an aerobics class and I got my mom to sign off on it, which basically means, Mom, I quote unquote went and did this thing. Can you sign off on it? And then she didn't.
And that's not very good parenting, Christine.
Well, yeah. What this was really interesting was because apparently Leon's pissed because Christine lets Aspen miss school and Meri does not let Leon miss school. And I mean, last episode, we saw Leon get National Honor Society.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think there is a difference there. And I do think this is probably one part about sister wives and being all close together that's really hard is there, different parenting moms,
styles,
different styles. And I can see how Leon would be upset, but I don't think Christine's doing the right thing. I mean, I don't know, because you and I we lived apart when you were in high school and I was in high school. So our mom would not let me. We had a mom like Meri, not mean like Meri, but a mom that was very much like, no, you're going to school. Like, you're doing what you need to do. Like, that's great. Aspen gets to miss school. And I appreciate that. I hated her at the time, but I appreciate the fact that I had a parent that was just like, yeah, that's great. Put your head down and keep going.
Yeah.
And hopefully Leon's appreciative of it now because this getting away with this stupid, like not going to PE is so stupid. It's so dumb.
Yeah. I can understand sometimes kids need a mental health day.
Yeah.
But yeah, just saying, I don't want to go. That's not cool. Anyway,
and we meet Dr. Guido.
Yeah, Dr. Guido is the study skills teacher.
I mean, what are these
Whatever
classes?
That means. I don't know.
These are the lamest classes.
Study skills. I mean,
this is Hunter's teacher, and they all love Dr. Guido. Apparently, all the kids.
It's probably easy class. I mean, what is study skills?
I don't know.
It sounds like it's a study hall or something.
Yeah. And then the last one is Mrs. Rule, who's McKelty's teacher. She's family consumer science. What is that? What is family consumer science?
That sounds like a fancy name for home ec.
Yeah. What are these classes?
I know.
I mean, I bet you the math teachers were like, they're not coming here.
Yeah.
Math science were like, nope.
I didn't know they still taught home economics.
In Vegas, they do. I have never been at a school where there was home economics.
My junior high had home economics. I took it there, but that was it.
No.
Not at high school.
I've never been anywhere that there was a home economics choice ever. That's Berkeley for you.
Yeah, Berkeley was.
Oh God,
we don't want to reinforce the patriarchal stereotypes of girls just learning how to cook and sew on a button.
Oh gosh, no. But yeah, McKelty's teacher, and McKelty's really into fashion. And
oh yeah, she says that. Oh, wait a minute. This is Maddie talking. I'm confused.
I know. It's really not that important.
Maybe
and not that interesting.
No. Anyway, okay, so McKelty, they talk about how McKelty wants to be a world famous fashion designer.
Yes.
Fashion is her passion, which is why she now sells LuLaRoe.
Oh, that's right. She is a LuLaRoe.
The fashion is her passion.
Yes, fashion is her passion. Yes, yes. So she really has her finger on the pulse of fashion now with LuLaRoe.
Yeah, and Kody says that he's like, well, that went good. None of the teachers didn't like our kids. I'm always nervous about that.
Oh, real nice. So now we're back at Meri's house, and troubles a brewing because Meri just got an email from Mona, and she can't have the hobby room and the pantry back office off the kitchen without having the 5th bedroom. Dun, dun, dun.
Now, how does the wet bar fit into that configuration?
Okay.
So does the wet bar come with you have to get the hobby room and pantry to get the wet bar?
Yeah. So I think that the way, and I didn't understand that at first either, but I guess the way it is we learn when we meet the builders, right? Which is they have a certain set of plans
they're
right?
permitted for.
So I guess the way it's structured is that the 5th bedroom is up above, right? So when you have that wet bar, that hobby room that comes off, there has to be something above it.
That's the 5th bedroom.
That's the 5th bedroom. And so if she says, I don't want the wet bar and why do they keep calling it hobby room? But it must be office or hobby room / office.
Right. You could make it in.
It could be a hobby room,
office, or Meri actually had a room. It had like a sewing machine and craft supplies and sewing supplies.
But why do they keep calling it hobby room versus office? Is it office? Is it office different than the hobby room?
No, I think it's the same thing. I think it's the same. You can use it.
Is that the same as a pantry, or is the pantry different?
No, pantry's different.
Okay, so can you have a pantry versus the wet bar, or is the wet bar different than the pantry?
They're two different things.
No, I'm sorry. I know that a wet bar and pantry are two different things, but is it you have to choose between getting a pantry and getting a wet bar?
I think that configuration of that house has
both. Okay.
Yeah.
So
plus a 5th bedroom.
So then we have to relive the conversation from last season about Meri.
We've been through this.
And how she would have a 7-bedroom house. Because she would have 8 kids. La, 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 la.
One thing, just going back to the wet bar briefly, Janelle said that when she said that Janelle saw the home and was frustrated that Meri was even considering it. And it was too much for her and Leon. So I think there's another configuration that they could have chosen that is 4 bedrooms, but no wet bar, no hobby room and pantry.
Yeah. That probably would be budget-wise, have a lot left over.
To do extras.
And probably, I don't know, maybe a lot left over just to save. Because I think the other thing...
You don't have to spend it all.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too, which is I think what Janelle probably is thinking is, Janelle's like, just because we have this budget doesn't mean we have to spend it all.
You don't have to fill it all. Yeah.
We don't have to fill it all up. And God forbid Meri... doesn't spend all this money, but Meri has to have this effing wet bar.
Yeah.
Because she
loves to entertain.
And she just is such a heavy drinker.
No, but it's all that extra counter space for entertaining.
Counter space and entertaining and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. So, we rehashed this yet again. I think this is like the 3rd episode in a row.
Yes.
Where we rehash how, Christine and Janelle, their true feelings are that Meri should have a smaller home.
Yeah.
That
she should.
She needs to sacrifice, blah, 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 blah.
So everyone's going to go meet the builders today, and they've decided that how it's going to work is each wife is going to get the same budget for the home. And Christine admits that she thinks Meri should get a smaller home. Janelle says that she worries that she would have to sacrifice for what somebody else wanted in the name of equality for the budget. Meri's response What I absolutely love about the house is the wet bar.
Yeah,
this is just
she's not budging on this.
No, she is not budging. So yeah, we meet the builders, and they are. And again, we of course have to ask these guys, like, hey, have you ever met polygamists before? Have you ever met it's like these two guys are just like, I don't really give two shits. I'm going to sell
as long as you pay.
You guys have money, great.
Yeah, I don't care what you do in here.
So they're asking, like, when can we break ground? And he's like, make some decisions. Once you make the decisions, and this is all done, and we get it all approved, we can break ground, and you can get in here as soon as possible.
You know that it took them months. Because in upcoming episodes, this is when they actually have to pick like the different finishings and the carpet, and that they literally have to pick like every single thing, and there's different qualities of stuff. I bet you that whole process took months.
Oh yeah. And honestly, I know that some people, the idea of like building a house from the ground up sounds great. That does not appeal to me.
So many decisions.
Ugh, I would not want to do that at all. Yeah. I know what I like when I see it, but I don't know how to describe it to people. And I really like it when I can just sort of say to someone, like, these are the colors I like, and I like this. And then they come back to me and they just do it for me. And I'm not a bad person to work with. I'm sure I've had some designers that have hated working with me, but I don't think I'm that bad. But I'm terrible with design and structure and any of that kind of stuff, but just all the minutia of what you have to pick, like the grout colors.
Right.
And
That's a lot.
I just don't want to do it. But what drives me crazy about all of this is there was nothing else that she could have done that was some other version. Like she still had a really big kitchen. And she could have still had some version of a wet bar. Like she could have maybe done a big sink. Like she could have asked to see could I get like a big sink in the middle of my island and had, this way to entertain. Like she got so fixated on that stupid wet bar. Like there's no other way of doing this.
No. No, she wanted it.
And she had to have it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so now we're at Logan's.
It's Janelle's house.
Sorry. Yeah, Logan's graduation day. So yeah, they're at Janelle's house. They were out of town for a week and
a half, which seemed really odd. Like, why would you go on a trip and come back the day before Logan's graduation? Yeah. Like, wouldn't you give yourself another day as a buffer?
Well, also, usually you're still in school up until a couple days before the graduation, but whatever.
Yeah.
So apparently no one knows what's going on or what time it is, what time to be there. And Kody's upset that he's telling Janelle it's her fault. No one knows what's going on.
And of course, Kody has a different version of what he sent to her, and Janelle has a different version of events. But I just want to say, I'm actually kind of with Kody on this, because I don't think Janelle handled this very well, because I think that Janelle's not as organized as some of these other people. And I do think that this is your son graduating. And I don't think Janelle did handle this whole situation very well. I think that Janelle wasn't very organized, and she probably needed to have like a little flyer for everybody. Like this is what's happening.
This is what time we're leaving.
Yeah, we're leaving at this time. Yeah, I don't think she was very organized at all.
Maybe not. But Robyn, somehow someone thinks that it's going to be 5 hours long.
Yeah.
Which high school graduations are usually pretty quick. Hour and a half, 2 hours tops.
But that was the problem. There's too much misinformation.
Yeah. So Robyn's going to come late because, Solomon can't handle it, for that long. And it's like, well, here's an idea. Leave Solomon with your live-in nanny.
Yeah.
Why is Solomon coming at all?
Yeah, that's a good question.
A baby does not want to. That is not a place for a baby.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. And the whole morning it's like the whole thing is chaotic. Again, why don't you give yourself more of a buffer? Why do you come home the day before?
Yeah, Hunter's like taking a shower, 10 minutes before they have to leave.
Did you see that Daddy Logan is cooking food?
Yeah, he's cooking
breakfast. And
Janelle's ironing things.
And yeah, they're all running around like, what are they going to wear? What are they going to do? And then there's this whole section with Kody and like fussing at his daughters about what they're wearing.
Disgusting.
And he's so like, he's shocked that they're upset. And I'm like, yeah, because they're teenage girls and you're being incredibly rude.
It's
to
totally
them.
rude. He says the girls take it all personal when I say
no shit.
Yeah, because you're personally attacking them. When I say that is something that a father should never see on his daughter's body, talking about their clothes. And there's these rules. I think
no cleavage, no tank tops.
Your butt can't hang out. I mean, I think that's the reasonable rule, but I'm not quite sure what that means.
Well, yeah, your butt can't hang
midsection.
out. No stomach, no cleavage, no tank tops. So again, I mean, I think a lot of these are open for like butt hanging out. Yeah, but like short. I mean, all of this is open.
Is that what they mean? Yeah, like short shorts.
But all of this is open for interpretation of what is cleavage. You know, I mean, again, when they got on McKelty about her tank tops, I didn't think there was no any cleavage.
Also, some people have bodies where their cleavage goes up to like close to their neck. You know, it's like they can't help it. You know, I hate that.
But you apparently don't understand women. But someone
or women's bodies,
who quote unquote is so in tune with women that girls that age are very sensitive about their bodies and about being told about their bodies and talked to being like shamed. That, about shamed and talked to about their bodies like that, number one. And number two, it is really not your place to talk to them in that way, in front of other people, in that shaming way.
Yeah.
That's what's bothering them.
It's damaging.
It's not about the tank top. Yeah. It's about how you're speaking to them.
Okay,
anyway.
So they're at the Thomas and Mack Center at the UNLV campus, and they go in, and it's sort of juxtaposed with Robyn, like, trying to find her way there. And again, she doesn't bring any of her other kids. So she should have left Solomon with whoever was watching her other kids.
That's right. I didn't even think about that.
Solomon did not need to be there.
Yeah.
And so she's saying that she would have a lot more time. Basically, she's late. She claims
she's late, and she claims that she can't.
She can't find it. I don't believe that.
The thing is huge.
It's ginormous, and you know when you go on a college campus, every 20 feet there are signs that say this is this way, this is this way.
Or I don't know. Hi, hello. Where's the Thomas and Mack Center? Oh, that giant building there.
That thing that looms over the whole horizon of the campus. I mean. Really, you know.
But of course that, you know, Kody's very concerned about Robyn. But Rob, you know, he's like, oh, where's she? Where's Robyn? Oh, she's going to be late.
And then who is it? One of the wives says that, Christine, was it Christine who said that, you know, this is important. You shouldn't leave. You're going to miss it if you leave.
I think it was Janelle. I mean, Christine was talking about how she feels very connected to Logan. Like Logan was the first child and she raised him. And, you know, when Janelle was working, she raised him and everyone thought he was her child. And, but I think it was Janelle who then said to Kody, Janelle said to Kody, come in here. You're going to miss it. Or Meri did.
Yeah, the look on Janelle's face, she was pissed. She's like, this is our fucking oldest son's graduation. Who cares if Robyn misses it? Mm-hmm. Seriously, who cares?
Like this woman just showed up yesterday.
She just met the guy. She met the kid 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They're not that close.
Yeah. So who cares, you know? So, and then finally, and
Robyn did miss it.
Yes.
Kody came back, saw Logan's name being called, saw them go across the stage. And then, of course, 10 minutes later, Robyn strolls in and everyone seems very tense.
Yes. And then Robyn's so upset with herself because, all of those kinds of things. So this whole thing was not very well organized. But again, I still think the whole thing wasn't well organized. And again, I don't think it's completely on Janelle. I mean, it's Janelle, Kody, it's their kid. It's their kid together.
Cody could have helped organize.
Yeah, I mean, together the two of you, the two of you together could have organized this whole thing better.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So, and then Logan says he can't wait to go to college. He said something about my mom was always my mother, but, you know, again, talking about Christine.
mm-hmm.
He says he wants to go into the medical field, healing and helping people. And in 20 years, he sees himself having one wife, maybe more later.
Yeah.
But.
And what does he do now? Did we have this conversation?
Oh, yeah. We don't know.
He has one wife.
If anyone knows,
does he?
Maybe we can.
Does
Google
he do
it later.
something healing?
You can look on LinkedIn or something. I don't know. We'll have to investigate that.
Okay.
So we're back to the baby decision.
Meri.
This segment is supposed to be, you know,
this is supposed to help Meri make a decision.
Yeah, and what
but
is
it doesn't.
Kody begs for an answer. This has come down to this. So she goes to see her sister Elaine, who just had a new baby. And she also struggled with fertility.
Yes.
And they're just talking. I don't remember what they said.
Well, Elaine says, she comments that she says, she sees Meri and she said, well, you seem to be in a really different place. You seem to be in a very different place than you were 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, was it 5 years ago that Meri had that miscarriage?
I think, yeah, wasn't Leon 12 at the time or...
Yeah, so that would make sense-ish.
Or maybe 10, I don't know.
Yeah, so Elaine says, you know, you're not as desperate, that desire in you to have a child isn't as present as it was a couple of years ago. And you know, Meri agrees. And this is a little bit of my theory of all of this is I think that Meri does not want to have another child.
She just doesn't want to admit it.
She doesn't want to admit it. And I also think part of why she doesn't want to admit it is these houses. Because if she admits that she doesn't want to have more children, then she has to really admit that
she doesn't need all
those bedrooms, right. That she, you know, that really, truly, that maybe she's okay only having one child, right? Like all of this stuff weaves together that there are some advantages in life to only having one child, and that, you know, when push comes to shove, that yes, if she had her way, yes, she would like to have 5 or 6 kids.
But it didn't happen
for her.
Sailed.
But she's not willing to do whatever it takes to fill those bedrooms. And that's the thing. And that's what the truth is.
Yeah.
The truth is that she would like to fill those bedrooms, but she's not willing to put her body through hell to fill them.
Right.
And that's the reality of it. And she's and that's the truth. And so, but Elaine's advice to her is, hey, you know what? Try it once. Try the in vitro. See how it goes, which has always been Kody's thing, which is like, hey, take the next step. Let's see if your eggs are any good.
Right.
Which every day we go by, they're getting older and older, lady.
Yeah.
And so basically what we've learned is visiting her sister didn't help her at all.
No. And then, so she's sitting on the couch with Kody and he basically gives her an ultimatum. He kind of gets in her face and he says, she said to him, she's like, she's like, well, that didn't really help me. And she's like, well, I don't know whose opinion to get. And he said, get God's opinion. And I'm like thinking to myself, just what do you want, Meri? Right.
Like, what's your opinion? What do you want?
She's afraid to say it.
She's afraid to say it. She doesn't want to say that because of that. She has to admit that she's not willing to do whatever it takes to have a baby because this goddamn stupid culture is so women are only valued by babies.
Right.
And to say it,
yeah. So I don't know. Basically, he was kind of pressuring her to make a decision. And then when it became clear that she wasn't going to do it, they decided that she would decide at the end of the year or when they moved into the new home.
Yeah. Well, first he says, okay, in 2 months, I'm going to give you 2 months. And in 2 months, we're going to drop the cash and we're going to move forward. Yes or no? And then she was kind of like, oh, I don't know.
Then he said, end of the year.
And then he was like very much, and you know, all that kind of stuff. And then she was like, oh, I don't know. And then she said, can I have the end of the year? And he said, do you want to wait until we get into the new houses? Like, as if the new houses are the answer to everything. Like with Kody, the new houses are everything. The houses.
Yeah, they said, so one of them said they might, or she might. I think she said she might feel different.
Yeah,
once she's once they're in the homes.
When we move into
what is that going to do?
Yeah, are you going to feel different in the new homes? And then I'm thinking in the back of my mind, like, oh yeah. She's gonna get the wet bar.
She wants to get what she wants.
She's gonna get the wet bar. She's gonna get the 5th bedroom. She's gonna get all the rooms she needs. She's gonna get all that money shelled out, exactly what she wants. And then she's gonna say, no, I don't want to do it. And there you go.
Yeah.
She gets exactly what she wants. And good for you, Meri, because you somehow managed to get everything. Because if I was Janelle or if I was Christine, I would be livid. I would not put up with this. I would never put up with this. I would be like, listen.
Well, like I said, I told you this is the beginning of the end of their relationship. This whole house thing and the baby thing, all this stuff. I think that Kody lost a lot of respect for her after all this.
About just seeing how she was with the wet bar?
Just the whole, everything.
And the baby.
Everything, yeah. I really do. But anyway.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
That's that.
Well, this will be we'll see. We can start to monitor the relationship because they still very much, when he came over, when she told her, oh, I got an email from Mona Reiki and I can't get the wet bar. He kisses her and lover.
They're still good now.
So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. You're right. So we'll monitor and track the relationship
and see it start to go sour
and see if it starts to go south before the whole, what's that guy's name? Samuel, catfish, that whole thing, because that'll be very interesting to see if things were falling apart. But, it's still, again, Janelle handled the money. So why didn't Janelle say, I'm not cutting you the check? Like it's not, it would be one thing if Kody handled all the money and Kody said, this is how this is going to be.
Kody makes all the decisions. So Janelle just executes on it.
So Janelle was so struck and she could not stand up for herself and say, well, you know what, Kody, I earn all the money and I write all the checks and I refuse
Apparently not.
Okay.
Apparently not. I think that they do, they try to act like this is all egalitarian and it's not. They might talk about it, but in the end, Kody makes all the decisions. And I think Meri, up until a certain point, did have a certain status as the first wife.
Okay.
And I think that Kody will deny that he treated her differently, but I think that he did.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was more in love with Meri than I think he was Janelle or Christine. He's made clear he didn't even love Christine when they got married. And he said that he and Janelle, they were friends. They were friends who just decided to get married.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think Meri is his first love, and he really, I think, loved her the most up until a certain point.
The wet bar
broke them up. It
Yeah.
ruined everything.
Okay.
Oh, well.
All right.
Okay.
Let's wrap this up.
So thank you for listening. If you like our podcast, we would appreciate it if you would subscribe and also leave us a 5-star rating and review. You can find us on social media at Psych Legal Pop on Instagram and TikTok. We're continuing Tuesday Sister Wife Rewind until this is done, I guess. But the new season 18 of Sister Wives, starting August 20th, we will be putting out podcasts Sunday night, right after the show airs. And we have a couple weeks left of And Just Like That. If you're interested in that show or you're watching it, check out our shows on that. And all the episodes are there in the app. And I think that's it.
Okay.
All right.
See y'all.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Stephen here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Stephen will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fanfellows wherever you get your podcasts.
When it comes to managing money, forget the hype and look at the results. Bill has $1 trillion of secure payments powering our bill pay tools. Instead of just moving money, Bill is powering the financial operations of nearly 500,000 customers. So stop the guesswork and start scaling with the proven choice. Ready to talk with an expert? Visit Bill.com/proven to get started. And grab a $250 gift card as a thank you. Terms and conditions apply. See offer page for details.
Pepsi Prebiotic Cola in original and cherry vanilla. That Pepsi taste you love with no artificial sweeteners, only 30 calories, just 5 grams of sugar, and 3 grams of prebiotic fiber. That great Pepsi taste with even more to love. Pepsi Prebiotic Cola. Unbelievably Pepsi.